All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Running with Wolves. Today, we're going to get into something that really pisses me the fuck off. And the reason why I want to talk about this week is because I feel like I have seen everyone and their fucking mother talking about this online recently. And I'm like, you know what? Cancel culture is back. Cancel culture is me. We're going to talk about the fact that it should not take you 90 days in order to see marketing or sales results if you have the proper strategy and the right audience. So let's get into it. Okay, so there's obviously a very common belief that you have to wait 90 days in order to see marketing results. Here's my thoughts on this, just as a whole. You could probably turn this episode off after I say this, honestly. I think that truly is, quote unquote, if you're not watching, you're listening to this, quote unquote, marketing and sales experts saying that because they don't want to take accountability and responsibility for the lack of results that they create their clients because they have shitty strategies that are cookie cutter and are not customized to their actual clients, their industries, their business models, etc. And so they want to blame the fact that they need to wait 90 days. And then when it's been 90 days and they're still not seeing results, they're like, well, you probably didn't do it right, or you didn't, implement consistently enough. Absolutely not. I'm sorry. I have literally had clients with a wide variety of types of audiences, small, large, engaged, super freaking cold, see results within a week of working with us and see results within 2 months of working with us if they are consistently implementing the right strategy. And it is everywhere in between. It can be a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, you name it, but it does not take 90 days if you have the right strategy. Here's the thing that I will say that I think can elongate how long it takes you to see results within your marketing. But let's also quantify what marketing results versus sales results are. Be so fucking for real with me right now. Marketing results are not always directly correlated to sales results. Marketing results can look like getting videos that are creating way bigger views. That's a huge win within your marketing. That's visibility, right? It can also look like engagement going up within your audience. That's a huge win within your marketing. It can also look like more profile views, people binging your content more link clicks. It can also look like more applications and inquiries and sales conversations, right? All of those are marketing results. Sales results are when that actually converts into money in your pocket, money in your payment processor, money in your bank account, right? So you can see a ton of different results, marketing and sales, very, very quickly. Here's what will elongate that timeline. If you are someone who has no audience and you are just starting to market yourself on a platform such as Instagram, TikTok, any social media marketing platform, you have to grow an audience, then engage them, and then convert them into an actual sale. And that process can take a lot longer versus if you had a large engaged audience and all you had to do was just sell to them better and they would ultimately buy, right? That can happen in a day. Versus if you have to grow, engage, and convert an audience, that can take like a month or 2 months, right? Especially if it's something like TikTok. I posted for 90 days on TikTok without ever seeing a video pop off when I first started. And then it was like a snowball effect, right? But sometimes you do have to have that consistency. So yes, that can take a little bit longer. But if you have even a small audience, I had a couple clients who just started working with us in Accelerator and consulting. We made a few little tiny tweaks and they have very, very small audiences and they already have videos popping off. They're already getting leads from them. And then obviously it's just a matter of time until they convert into sales. But it's because we gave them the right strategy and they implemented consistently. It doesn't take that much, you guys. That's why I'm so sick and tired of people spewing this bullshit at you, is because it's fake news. I can't, sorry. Let's ask ourselves, let's just go down this rabbit hole. Why don't we? Because that's what this podcast is for, right? I have a microphone, so you can't take it away from me. I don't know what to tell you. The best is that I have a microphone and I'm just sitting in my house recording alone, staring at myself on a camera, and I'm just yapping, doing what I do best, yapping. So let's just go down the rabbit hole, why don't we, of really exploring why people believe this myth. I think that, when you think about marketing campaigns, they often require planning, execution, optimization, but I think the reason why our clients see such fast results is because with most marketing campaigns, they are operating off of trial and error. We're operating off of data. We have 2 data phases. We have the prep phase, which is where you collect data and you create a campaign off of that. And then we have the optimization phase, which is where you're refining your strategy to get even better results. Most people just throw shit at the wall and hope that it sticks. And then from there, they're able to refine and optimize their strategies. But to me, like results from SEO, content marketing, paid ads, that can take a lot of time to ramp up, right? But because of the way that we do organic social media marketing, you can have a TikTok really truly like go viral and get dozens of leads from one video, like our clients do. Like I literally just had a client yesterday where she was like, by the way, it's literally been 8 hours and I've posted one video and it's at like 70K views and I have 12 applications to work with me and it's been 8 hours. I'm like, incredible. And that's not the first time that that's happened to that client. It happens pretty darn consistently for her because she has mastered her strategy. But I think that coaches and experts like to really perpetuate this narrative. It's like Taylor Swift. I would very much like to be excluded from this narrative. I'm like, thank you so much. Please exclude me from this like 90-day results BS rule because that's not true. Like I said, really truly to cover their asses and cover up the fact that I think they don't know what they're talking about. Seriously, you guys, like, think about it this way. It's like those people where they use really big words that don't actually fit in a sentence. And you're like, you don't actually know what you're talking about, do you? And like, you can just tell by how they talk that they don't know what they're talking about. It's the exact same way. Like they're covering their asses and trying to sound better than they actually are. Like they know more. They're like, oh, it takes 90 days to see results. And it's like, no, it's because the only strategy that you know was from Janice, the business coach, and you're also a business coach. And that's the only strategy that you know to implement. And now you're charging people to give them this cookie cutter strategy that actually doesn't work because they're selling skincare products in Australia and they're not a business coach, right? People who actually know marketing and sales know that you can see results very quickly if you know what you're doing. The other thing that I will also say is that if any marketer or salesperson guarantees results to you within X amount of days, I need you to run for the fucking hills. I have just explained to you guys that it can take anywhere from a day to 2 months, 3 months to see results when it comes to marketing and sales. But that's because every business, every audience, every target audience, every product, every service, every buyer type, etc., is different. Every sales cycle is different, right? The people who truly know marketing and sales will be able to sit there and tell you, I can't guarantee you results within a week. Because number one, I don't know your data. I don't know your marketing. I don't know your sales. I don't know what you've done. I don't know what your audience looks like. And once I have all of that information, I can have a better understanding of how quickly we can create results for you. Because if your audience is like ready to sell to and boom, they buy, that's going to be really fast. If we have to really like create an audience, warm them up and then convert them, that's going to take a little bit longer, right? But if anyone's ever guaranteeing you results, immediate red flag, get out of there as quick as you can. And I also think, in my opinion, there needs to be a little bit of onus on the marketer themselves, like the business owner who's doing the marketing, in terms of those results as well, right? I could give you literally the best strategy you've ever seen, and I could tell you exactly what to post, but if you don't post or you don't post consistently or you don't do it in a way that makes sense for your audience, if your implementation is not there, the information I give you is irrelevant. Now, here's the problem, I think, with having this mindset of like, oh, it's going to take quote unquote 90 days to see results. It really, to me, prevents you from taking action because you're constantly telling yourself the excuse of like, oh, it just takes time. Like if our clients aren't seeing really like some results within, I would say like 30 days of us putting together their strategy, I'm in their data. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Why are we not seeing results? Literally any results. I'm not talking about like just sales. I'm saying like, if you're not seeing views, if you're not seeing engagement, if you're not seeing sales, if you're not seeing conversions, and a lot of times it comes down to implementation, but I'm in that data. I'm like, what's going wrong? Is the execution going wrong? Like what's happening here? And so I think that a lot of times believing this myth of like, it just takes time to see results prevents you from optimizing your strategy or diagnosing and figuring out what's going right and what's going wrong, or even being consistent. And that's the problem I think that people really run into, is they don't know how to determine what's going right or what's going wrong in their marketing. So they can't fix the issue or they can't replicate the results. And I really do think that you can determine what's going right and what's going wrong within your marketing within 1 week. You should really be able to look at your marketing and your sales data, make some shifts, see how the audience is responding, and go from there within literally 1 week. And that's, like I said, how fast results can happen. The analogy that I use, if you are like not properly diagnosing your marketing strategy and you're using the wrong marketing strategy, over and over again, is like if I had like a broken coffee cup and I'm just pouring coffee into it every single morning and then I'm disappointed that my coffee cup is empty. Like, no shit, Sherlock. There's no bottom to the coffee mug. Of course the coffee's going to go right through. It's broken. But it's my responsibility to replace the coffee cup instead of blaming the coffee that I just made. Why does it keep disappearing? I don't know. Maybe you should switch out the mug. So now that we've kind of determined why people think it takes 90 days to create marketing results, I want to talk about some tangible strategies that you can use to actually speed the process up as much as possible. Number one, when people start to work with us, I always say, let's focus on what we can do now and what we can build for the future so we can get you fast results of what we can control now. And then we can also create some sustainable results moving forward. So number one is leverage your existing audience if you have it, right? Most people don't understand the power of their current audience. I think a lot of people think like, oh, if I need to create sales and my audience isn't buying, I need to find new people to sell to. No, just warm up the audience that you have and sell to them. They're in your audience for a reason, right? You don't have to burn it all to the ground and start over. Your audience really could be on the edge, like waiting to buy from you, but they're not hearing what they need to hear from you in order to actually take that leap and buy your product or invest in your service. So I want you to dive into your data with your audience, figure out like, what are they engaging with? What's causing them to binge your content? What's causing them to actually click on the link and explore more about your products or your services? If you don't know how to get that data, I have really truly an entire podcast episode on that. And then you can replicate that content over and over and over again. And if you don't have that data, do some market research. Again, we have another podcast episode on that, but this is another, thing with market research is don't skip this step because like I said, we have 2 data sections, right? That prep phase is all about market research. It's going to give you something to go off of to create your strategy. And then you review how your audience responded to that strategy and refine from there. Another thing I will say is make a clear offer. A lot of times I think that the reason why people fail to convert their audience into a sale, whether they're selling a product or a service, is because neither of those things are clear or compelling. They don't know what their product or their service is and why it matters to them. A lot of times I always say, if you're not seeing sales, it's not the product that's the issue, product or service. It's the promotion of the product or the service. I just had somebody ask me yesterday on an accelerator call. She's also in the marketing space. And she was like, unfortunately right now, people aren't investing in my done for you services. So should I create like a smaller offer that then funnels them into the bigger offer? And I'm like, well, how are you going to sell the smaller offer? She's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, okay, you have an entire audience of qualified leads for your larger, like done for you services. So why is it that you think that instead of just like creating marketing that's going to speak to them and compel them to inquire, creating a whole new offer, investing time and effort and energy into that, and then marketing it when you don't even know how to market this offer over here is actually going to create sales for you? And she's like, I don't know, maybe it's like a gap in my product suite. I'm like, okay, well, have you tried to activate your audience for the bigger offer? No. Let's do that first because it's also going to take less time and effort and energy. It's never the product or the service that's the issue. Well, 99% of the time, it's not the product or service that's the issue. It's the promotion of it. So a lot of times what I see is you're lacking solution selling. So a lot of people, what I will say is they will market the product or service itself. Here's my skincare product, buy it. Here's my marketing service. Here's what's included. Here's what you get, buy it. Instead of talking about the solution of the product or the service, because people are far more likely to invest or purchase in a solution rather than a product or service because a solution is meaningful to them. If I said, hey, I'm going to do your social media for you, people would be like, okay, like that's cool. But if I said, hey, I'm going to take all of the time and effort and energy and like the 10 hours a week that you're investing in coming up with content ideas, creating the content, posting the content, having the sales conversations, doing all of those things, I'm going to take that off of your plate. And on top of doing all of that for you, I'm actually going to make you more sales because of the strategies that I'm using with your content. How does that sound to you? They'd be like, sorry, what? Where do I sign? Right? Or if I said, here's my hyperpigmentation skincare product, what do you think about it? People would be like, oh, cool, like another skincare product. And I'd be like, yeah, all those lasers and like all of the different treatments that you've invested money in that haven't worked for your hyperpigmentation. Yeah, this one is. It's actually proven to get rid of all of your hyperpigmentation in X amount of time. What do you think about that? They'd be like, yeah, I want that. Immediate add to cart, right? You're selling the solution and how it impacts people rather than the deliverables or the details of the product or the service. And that's going to make them buy so much faster. The other thing to also take into consideration is your messaging and your language. So is your transformation and solution clear? Are you speaking your target audience's language? I talked about this in my TikToks this morning, but you wouldn't go to a foreign country unless you're a sleazeball. You wouldn't go to a foreign country, speak your native language, and then be pissed off that nobody's understanding you, unless you want to give off tacky American tourist. It really doesn't matter like how loudly you speak in your native language. If you're not speaking the right language, no one's going to understand you, right? So it's the same for your audience. You need to learn how to speak their language or it's not going to be meaningful. It's not going to translate for them. And it doesn't matter how many times you post, how loudly you scream at them, it's not going to connect for them. The other thing that I would also say is shift your marketing and your sales strategy, which everything we've kind of already been talking about, but think about what content topics have worked really well for you in the past. Have you strayed away from those topics? How do you reintegrate those topics into your strategy in a way that feels unique and fresh and exciting for your target audience? How long has it been since you've shared social proof or testimonials? Are you sharing the story behind those social proof and testimonials? Are you giving context? Or are you just like slapping up a screenshot and hoping for the best and being like, my reviews of my product are amazing, buy it? No one actually cares. People care about a story. They need context. You got to give it to them. So how can you leverage your results of your product or your service to spark interest in new leads? And then with sales, if you're really trying to kind of turn things around quickly, asking yourself, are there any old leads you can re-engage or follow up with? Any past clients you can upsell? And are you engaging with your community and responding to clients and getting them talking to you? Here's the thing, if you're doing all of these things, like I said, you should see results very quickly. We've seen our clients experience this like truly countless times. They're terrified to invest, but within like a week, they've made back what they just paid for that month of support with just a couple of small shifts and changes to their strategy because they're seeing the results that quickly. We've had clients literally create results from implementing our Wolf framework with like no support from our team during our holiday break. Like last year, so at the end of December, every single year, we shut down for the last 2 weeks of the month for just the holidays, and we come back after the new year. And so there's no client support during those times. We make sure everybody's like set up, good to go, basically before we go out of office, and then we touch base with them when they come back. We have clients who create a shit ton of sales without us because of the frameworks and the strategies and the processes that we use and how we teach marketing and sales. So please understand that small shifts can make a massive difference in your sales. There's a lot of people who will say like, oh, well, this isn't going to work for me because I don't have that big of an audience. You don't need a huge audience. You just need an engaged one. I have clients who literally have a couple hundred followers on Instagram or TikTok and are creating great results. Like think about a room of 200 people and you're selling to all of those people. That's a great amount of people to be selling to if you know how to get them to buy. If you had a 50% conversion rate and you converted 100 of those people, think about how much money you could make if you were a product or service-based business. We've seen our clients get 2K views on videos and literally signed 13 clients in 1 week when that had never been possible for them before, all within less than a month of implementing our strategies that are customized to their audience. And they had a small audience. And the other concern I hear a lot of people have is like, won't this feel too salesy, right? Won't the conversion, the solution selling, the buyer types, blah, 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 won't that feel too salesy? When you're coming from a genuine place, and you really believe in the impact that your product or your service has, and all you're doing is speaking your target audience's language, they resonate with the content you're putting out, they recognize themselves in it, and then you're literally just giving them a solution. It would basically be like me saying like, oh, you get sunburned really easily. Like, hey, I know this sunscreen that I absolutely love. Like, do you want me to send you the link? It's as simple as that. Like, solution selling to me, it feels the same as like recommending a product or a service to your girlfriend, because you're literally just saying like, oh, you have this problem, oh, you have this goal. Hey, I know this thing that can create really great results for you or fix that problem or meet that need. Do you want me to like send it to you? Do you want it? That's it. You're really empowering your audience to make those purchase decisions on their own. So I know that this was a really quick episode, but I was thinking about this a lot and I was feeling a little ranty because I was getting a little pissed off. So hopefully this was helpful, and I hope that this motivated you to make a couple changes. And if you've been like going and going and going, and you can honestly look me in the eyes or look me in this podcast video and tell me that you have been consistently implementing your marketing strategy and it's an actual strategy for 90 days and you're not seeing results, or you've gotten support before in marketing and sales and you're not seeing results from that, and you want help, I want to have a conversation with you because our clients see kick-ass results and there's a very clear reason why. So if you have questions about your marketing strategy and you just want to talk about that, you want advice, DM me on Instagram, or if you want to talk about our help, you can DM me there as well. But I hope you guys have a fantastic week and I will see you in the next episode. Bye guys.